Okay, folks, welcome to CraftRiddle, episode of Dwarf Fortress 39, Midsummer. And we've had a few things happen. One, the were lizard was allowed out. She socialized a little bit, then she went back in. And when she was out, we cleared up the room, fixed the door, and now she's been walled up again. We also had a problem with a wrestler who died because they threw a tantrum while in the barracks. And while a lot of the other people in the sparring, the training session, did not have weapons, some of them did, the pros and the city guard did. You might say, hey, Callisto, why would you allow them to have real weapons during training? One of the issues with dwarves is sometimes they get really, really familiar with a weapon. They're like Jane in Firefly. They name their weapons. And sometimes they become so happy with a weapon that they'll keep it with them all the time, name it and everything. And this isn't a bad problem when it's a real weapon. But when they are with a practiced wooden weapon for so long, sometimes they grow attached to it, and it becomes the weapon of choice, which is completely okay during training. But a wooden weapon is pretty harmless against a dragon. Now, these are blunt weapons. They're designed not to hurt, unlike the elves who have wooden weapons which are designed to hurt. So what happened is this dwarf who had a tantrum got butchered. And like I said, no crime because it was self-defense. Now there are a few good things that happened, but there's still one last thing that's happened. There was a jail fight. One of the people got through a tantrum and beat up on their jailmate, and that was a 13-year-old dwarf. Now, dwarves become adults at 12 years of age, so it's not like they're beating up a kid. But still, that person's life isn't doing too well. You know, they turned 13 in this horrible fortress. They went from being a child to suddenly being an adult, being told to haul logs, work in the fields, gather fruit, and now they threw a tantrum because it was raining on them. They were put in jail, and then an older dwarf beat them up. Not really good. Now, the good things, we did have a gathering. In fact, there's still a few out here. The dwarves started gathering fruit from the floor and the treetops. So we have a huge amount of fruit in the kitchen. And yeah, and most of it's being brewed. And I told them, look, some of them, like bayberries, they have a lot of. And a few others, they have a lot of. So I said, look, just the pears, brew them and cook them. Let's get a little more variety out there. So that is good. Also, the beds on one of the... whoops, I need to be at the... There you go. I've finished almost... Well, I'm not finished. I have a lot of beds in the top floor here. And we gotten to the point where we've had... Everybody has a bed except for some of the children, and we're still working on that. The problem is, as I pointed out, or as you probably figured out by the title card, there's a migration. So we're going to have that whole thing filled up with beds, or even more, because I haven't processed them yet. And that's what we're going to be doing now. I'm going to edit that out, of course. I'm not going to force you to watch me take the whole time to just name all these people. But first I have to figure out what migration this is. Because, which number am I starting out with? Because we've had 8th, 9th. We're going to have 1,000? This is going to be like the 10th migration? No, it's the 9th migration because the first migration was the founding fathers. Or mothers. And they're 0. So, no, wait. Yeah, that makes them... Did I start out with 100 or did I start out with 0? Did I actually skip 100 and go straight to 200? No, there's 100. So yeah, this is going to be, this is going to be 4 digits. All right. Well, I'll start the process of going through these people, and I'll be back when we've processed them all, and I can give you information about these new migrants. All right, just pausing a little bit to point out that the militia captain is punching people again in the jail area. You think the disciplined people would be less likely to start a fight in a jail? I've decided next time I make jails, they're going to be individual rooms with doors and beds and ropes, so they can't get near each other. And if they throw a tantrum, the only thing they can do is maybe break a bed. And the next time I have chickens and turkeys, each of them are going to be in one big room with nest boxes. I'm going to treat the chicken and turkeys more like chicken and turkeys, and the prisoners more like prisoners, not the other way around. But, alright, just let's get back on to processing. Oh, just a little information. The migration wave had a bunny, so he's been made available to be a pet for any dwarf who wants to have a pet bunny. Let me continue with the processing now. Okay, folks, that seems to be it. Mostly a bunch of rangers and farmers, 8 immigrants total, or migrants total, 1 child out of the bunch, a few animals, 1 or 2 pets, and a rabbit that nobody had claimed, so I'd set it up for adoption. That seems to be it. Luckily, that's not a lot. And it will replace the 1 person who died. Oh, there seems to be fighting. Excuse me. And it's once again... Oh. It's in the jail. But this time, hey, he's calmed down. What do you know? The poor... Yeah, the clother has been experiencing traumas as they keep on beating her up. And she's suffered a major injury, and they haven't taken her... Oh, yeah, a lot of industry. Your right ear is gone. Yeah. Oh, wow. Well, let's see. The militia captain. The guilt is almost unbearable, so he keeps on beating up people. Upper body is dented, probably because he got it beaten. And there's somebody in one of the cages. Anyway, the migrants, I keep on calling them immigrants, but they're migrants, yeah, are here, and that should help the population grow a little bit. We are now 142, and we have 40 dwarven children, 24 farmers, only 1 engineer, but there's no metal to work with, 2 peasants, which probably means they became of age while in the fortress, 11 nobles or administrators, 12 crafts dwarves, 1 metalsmith, 12 rangers. That's a lot of people with bows and arrows. Now, I've just got through and I realized that a lot of our rangers and our hunters are in the militia but have not been assigned weapons for range. You know, they've been given the helmet and the leather armor and the shield, but they haven't been given any crossbows. And I'm like, might as well give them crossbows. We probably need to put up a range someplace so they could actually practice crossbows. But they do a lot of hunting on their own, to be honest. So we have 1 miner, which is okay because we don't mine. We have 5 woodworkers, which is okay because we do have a lot of wood. We have 1 stone worker, which is okay because we only have 1 stone worker. I mean, we don't have any stone. We have 23 trained animals. Most of those are dogs. We have 1 hammer dwarf, 1 spear dwarf, 6 marks dwarves, and 6 wrestlers, and 8 recruits. So nobody's really an expert. There's no elite masters or lords or anything like that. But they are getting to the point where they at least could take down large monsters. I mean, they've been through a lot of combat so far with werebeasts and monsters and all that, so at least 1 eaten anyway. A 2-headed giant, Not to be confused with the one from Token. So, we're doing okay. I think we'll be around when the caravan shows up. We have plenty of drink. At least plenty of drink for 142 dwarves. We have plenty of food stores. So, I hope we have plenty of food stores. Okay, let's check. Let's check it out. Let's check it out. It would be under prepared meals. 42 prepared meals, and some of them are having issues. Alright, what's the issues? Biscuits, a lot of seafood, chicken, dingo, seeds, a lot of seeds. A lot of seeds. Boy, if you are a vegetarian, you might not like the tricky intestines biscuits, but walnut biscuits, seeds, pecans, foxtail mill. We're milling the foxtails. I didn't think I told him to do that. Raw. No, I don't. You're gonna get sick doing that, guys. Now, what was the one that was? Oh, yeah. No. I'm not sure what's going on. Why is that forbidden? Are those okay? These should be forbidden. These guys should be dumped. They're rotten. If they're not already dumped, they should be dumped. But yeah, we have a lot of food. That's a lot of food. And of course, that there's also a lot of raw food. I'm assuming the other foods are like fruits or something. Look, there's fish that haven't been processed yet. There's gobs. Oh, that's just fat and tallow. Leaves. Yeah, strawberries, blueberries, spinach leaves. That stuff could be turned into salads. Liquids. Where did we get the giant cave spider? Rat blood. Why do we have rat blood? Okay, I can understand the milk and the royal jelly, but I don't know why we have rat blood. Guys, you're weird. And meat that hasn't been processed yet. A lot of brains, intestines, liver, tripe. Let's see, plants. Yeah, barley, pigtails. Some of that we want to keep for industry, clothing industry, and some of that, yeah, we want to cook. So yeah, we're doing good. Dwarf sugar. Yum yum yum. So yeah, we're doing good. Wise from a food point of view. I mean, from a environment point of view, dwarves hate this place. It rains. They're out. They're always exposed to sunlight. I mean, let's just pick somebody at random. Let's see how he's... Okay. Male. Married female. Not male. Married female 923. How you doing? Chambered trailed. Let's see what your thoughts are. Feel very uneasy after seeing... Well, you're going by the dead bodies. Okay. And after seeing a badger... Okay, I guess she works outside or something? Seeing the dog. Okay, the problem is she's just walked by the pile of corpses. She's been caught in the rain, because she did get drunk. But she's also thinking about being caught in the rain. Felt satisfied at work. Felt, okay, once again, drunk. Getting into an argument. Felt satisfied after getting into an argument. Wow. Felt pleasure near a fine, tastefully arranged display furniture. Felt pleasure after viewing a skeleton. She's been in the library. Oh. That's weird. Okay. Yeah, but she seemed to have been in the library for a while, and viewing the corpses on display is something else. But some of them she's happy with, and some of them, because they're enemies. Others, they're not too, she doesn't have, she's not happy with it. Wow. After, she was annoyed after sleeping in the dirt. Well, she's got quarters in 9 cabinets now, so she should be doing pretty well. Let's see about her family. Her husband lives in here. Her husband does live here. All the children are someplace else, though. Though there's a younger brother who lives in the town. Aunts and uncles someplace else. A niece who lives here. A nephew. A cousin. Another cousin. Oh! The new militia commander, because there was an empty space so one of the new migrants is now a militia commander, a married female. That's a cousin. So that's probably good. Well, how's the cousin doing? Let's see how the cousin is doing after arriving here. Everything is all right. Boy. She's a commander and she has a little difficulty with words. Well, so do I. Poor ability to manage or understand social relationships. She's also clumsy and very weak. Oh, slow to tire though. That might be good. I mean, I did kind of just pick a random person to be the new militia commander. So, combed mustache and beard, but they shave their sideburns, which is kind of weird. Fairly long hair is arranged in double braids. She has a scratchy voice. She has a deeply recessed chin. No chin, basically. Her burnt arbor skin is slightly wrinkled. Her hair is white mixed with gray. Her eyes are slick gray. Okay. Okay. She personally values sacrifice. Well, hopefully she doesn't sacrifice herself in combat. She dreams of crafting a masterwork someday. Could happen. Could happen. She assumes the worst of two outcomes will be the one that comes to pass. So she's somewhat pessimistic. She's stubborn. Well, she's good into flights of fantasy. She has actor. Okay, well, hopefully she does well. She'll basically, hopefully, the new militia commander is happy here. But they will soon go downhill when it rains on them and they don't have beds and blah 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 blah. And then some of them will go crazy and they'll start killing each other, but then a new migrant wave will show up and they'll all be replaced. Let's put some beds here and place some cabinets. And I think we'll end it here because I don't think you want to watch me just put beds and cabinets up. And there's really nothing happening. If a werebeast shows up, we'll be back. If the caravan shows up, hopefully on time, we'll also be back, which would be nice. And we'll see how much stone they have and if I can finish my well. If I can finish the well, we'll see an actual functioning well before winter, which would also be nice. And you'll see how that works. But also I want to make sure not just the well works. Because the well's working. It's already here. The well is here. It's the... Whoops. Oh my. Push the question mark there. It's getting these to work here. These are the two drawbridges I plan to use to control the flow of water. And make sure monsters don't try to get through the well. Because they could climb up out of the well. And the well, even though the well is 2 stories deep, they could get up to here. So I'm going to see. I'm going to make sure, try to do as much I can to get the mechanisms. As much stone as mechanisms I can get, and that would be great. And oh, it looks like they're sparring here. Spear dwarf versus a hammer dwarf. The hammer dwarf seems to be winning. Okay, so the hammer dwarf has a copper warhammer and a steel crossbow. And the spear dwarf has nothing? I don't see the spear dwarf actually using anything. Okay, do you have actually anything on your person? Okay, let's see this. Do you have anything? Okay, so what are you armed with if you don't have a spear, if I could ask? You're sweating? Oh, yeah, you're basically sweating because you're in combat. Wooden shield. You do have a bronze spear, leggings, water skin, cloak, armor, and those X's mean those things are really worn down. Ooh, a bone, raccoon bone. So you got bone, leather, cloak, shield. uh, and you're sweating. You're sweating a lot because you're practicing. And well, how are you doing? Let's see how that person's doing. Peering. Okay, so satisfied, proving shield, proud, remembering, teaching shields, are worried after. So the training's helping. The training is helping, but she's mostly getting pleasure from. Oh wow, none of her family is here. She's one of the founders, and outside of having friends and passive acquaintances with other founders and a few, oh, well, that person's dead, and a few other people, and her god and her pet, that's it. That's all there is. And she's killed a dwarf. Probably had to, but yeah. Huh. You'd think I'd recognize her. I mean, she's the second person who got named in the whole game. Or the second person who got processed in the whole game. Well. Who's the hammer dwarf? No. Well, there's a hammer dwarf, is there? Well, who? Combat. Wasn't there a hammer dwarf you were fighting? Wait a minute. Well, where's the hammer dwarf? All right. Well, maybe I'm confused. I don't know. That says it's a Mars dwarf. Well, where? Okay, let me look at the sparring. No? Well, whatever. Okay, well, I think it's time to end, so thank you very much, guys. This was the latest episode. And basically, episode 39, and basically all that happened was I told you a little bit about stuff. We have a migrant wave of not a lot of people. I mean, only like 8 dwarves. One of them's a child. That's better than most. Usually there's almost a lot more children, and like almost like 1/3 of them are children. So it could be things are slowing down, that we're not getting the reputation required to get large waves of people to show up, which is probably a good thing, because you really don't want a whole bunch of people who are useless, especially the children. We do need a traction bed, though, sooner or later. It would help our medical facilities if we had a traction bed, which means even more mechanisms. Oh, and one of the children's just stumbling around, oblivious, because it's probably gone insane. Right, what a note to leave on. See you guys.